All right, I'll go two ways here. So I got on Twitter, I made the mistake of saying, yeah, well, if somebody donates $20 to Awaton, then I will, in my best conservative voice, explain what Mr. Stefan said in the legislature today. And of course, someone took me up on that and actually did indeed do a $20 donation. So now I have to say this in my best conservative voice. And I should have got my, Make Alberta Great Again hat that I was gifted before, but I'm not going to dig it out of the closet for this. Mr. Stefan speaking. Mr. Speaker, thank you. The decision yesterday to reject an NDP socialist police state lockdown was the right one. Albertans will rise to the challenge and bend down the COVID curve. He didn't even say COVID-19. Mr. Speaker, socialism is in opposition to liberty. It can only exist through the rough fist of the state. Socialism is fixated on fighting over a pie, not growing it, and inevitably shrinking it. When legal plunder displaces work as a ruling principle, a sustainable society is lost. Socialism is soul-destroying, infecting a people with diseases of dependence and idleness. A people that is dependent is not free, and idle people are not happy. We raise a voice of warning and of hope. Canada is marching towards bankruptcy, threatening to take Alberta down with it, adopting policies of economic self-destruction, undermining the capacity of its rainmaker partners, Alberta businesses and families, to provide for themselves and others. Mr. Speaker, Alberta must protect itself from a socialist decarbonization reset, disconnecting from economic reality and bankrupt of a vision of hope. A vision of hope is not one of anger, but is principled, speaking of truth in love with firmness of mind. A right path forward is for Alberta to seek great self-reliance. Socialism fears self-reliance. Consistent, deliberate efforts towards self-reliance will yield results in opportunities sooner than I have no idea what the rest of this bull crap is from. 1950s communism, maybe? I'm pretty sure that's the propaganda we're hearing here. So obviously I don't feel that way, but I had to fulfill my part of that agreement, and I hope my friend enjoyed that. And since I have everybody here, I will happily remind everybody, Dr. Dina Hinshaw, our chief medical officer, has to work with government. And as somebody who's part of Team Trudeau, who's somebody who ran provincially, someone who protests regularly with my brothers and sisters, I can tell you working with government is very difficult. And I don't have a lot of, envy for Dr. Hinshaw right now. And she's an easy scapegoat for a lot of people. Don't blame her for trying to work with an impossible government that has time and time again showed itself to be sexist, homophobic, anti-Indigenous, only Catholic. I grew up with Dr. Hinshaw. I know that she is very religious of the Christian faith, not to the point that it would hinder her ability to be a scientific partner and obviously our medical health officer. She's just human. And I'm seeing a lot of folks online talking about having faith in government. And I think that that is very difficult for Indigenous people who have lived under the Indian Act, had their script taken away from them, had to be relocated, had RCMP historically shoot their sleigh dogs. to have faith in this system anyway, who regularly experience racism in the healthcare system. You know, these are things that I talk about, I care about. It's really difficult to expect Indigenous people to get behind all of this. Now, for all of the settlers who want to believe in their government, I understand that. And I am happy for you that you want to have faith in your government. I would like to have faith in my government too, but obviously you know, I have to have faith in Dr. Hinshaw. I have to have faith at the other levels of government, from federal and the other levels of health, the federal health officer as well. All of these people work together, and we have to try to make the best of it. And I know things are tough right now because we're months into a pandemic. I know a lot of people have lost their job here in Alberta. My family is no exception. We are dealing with the stresses of Christmas coming up, a second lockdown. I know it's hard. I know it's hard for families right now. I know it's hard knowing that your kids are all coming home after this week for a few months, really. But we don't know how long this will really last. I know this is tough times, but I have faith in us as community. I don't have a lot of faith in the institutions. I work really hard every day to try to improve, but I do have faith that my friends, my chosen family, my family will love each other through this. And, you know, Hinshaw said it best yesterday, where he said, last week we were memorializing our fallen soldiers from the Great War and the Second World War, as well as the wars since. And a reminder that we all have Netflix and, in my case, The Mandalorian, to keep us company through this awful and difficult time, as well as door-to-door delivery. So, you know, I just really encourage people to chill, respect where Dr. Dina Hinshaw is coming from, working with probably the most impossible people to work with, folks that will never recognize Indigenous genocide. I'm really looking forward to either getting back the old government or a new government with some changes, and hoping that we can progress as a province and then as a country. So, you know, don't hesitate to give me all your comments. Love to hear from you. And with that, I'll also remind people who are always wondering, what can I do for reconciliation? Truth and Reconciliation Commission Volume 4 report has the calls to action 71, 76 about the missing children and unmarked burial sites. Guarantee you that there's a residential school close to you that you need to do that work with. So if you have any questions, contact me and we'll go from there. Bye. And with that, I will stop.